It began quietly. No fireworks, no grand parade. Just the low growl of jet engines echoing across the frost-bitten tarmac of the Komsomolsk-on-Amur. On October 27, 2025, a brief statement from Russia's United Aircraft Corporation rippled across the defense world. Serial production of the Su-57 fifth-generation fighter is officially scaling up. No fanfare. Just a line of text. Enough to shake every defense ministry in the West, because this wasn't just an industrial announcement. It was the sound of a sleeping giant reawakening. For years, the Su-57 was a ghost, an ambitious stealth project born in the shadows of sanctions, delays, and budget restraints. But now the ghost is taking form, and it's coming in numbers. The report, first published by Defense Security Asia, confirmed what military analysts had been whispering for months. Russia has formally entered sustainable fifth-generation fighter manufacturing. The United Aircraft Corporation has accelerated the throughput of its production line, preparing to deliver 76 Su-57 stealth fighters by 2027 under a state contract first signed in 2019. For a country strained by war, sanctions, and logistics, this is monumental. The expansion marks a turning point, an industrial resurrection not just for the Russian Air Force, but for Moscow's entire military strategy. To understand the scale of this shift, we must understand what the Su-57 is. Codenamed Felon by NATO, this twin-engine fifth-generation fighter was designed as Russia's answer to the F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II. Built with radar-absorbent composites, internal weapons bays, and advanced electronic warfare systems, the Su-57 combines stealth with brutal close combat agility, something even American pilots quietly respect. Unlike the American design philosophy that prioritizes stealth over maneuverability, the Su-57 blends both worlds: stealth, supercruise, and supermaneuverability. Its AL-51F1 engines, the so-called Izdelia 30, give it blistering speed and thrust vectoring unmatched by any Western fifth-generation jet. But its greatest strength lies in integration. The Su-57 is built to act not just as a fighter, but as the central brain in a network of drones, missiles, and battlefield sensors, a fully networked aerial command unit for 21st century warfare. The Su-57 story began in 2002, under the codename PAC-FA, Future Aviation Complex of Frontline Aviation. At the time, Russia was desperate to answer America's F-22 Raptor, which had entered service 2 years earlier. But unlike the US, Russia was fighting an uphill battle. Economic collapse, corruption, and post-Soviet industrial decay left the defense industry hollow. Prototype after prototype emerged, T-50-1 through T-50-11, but serial production always slipped away. By 2018, only a handful of aircraft were in testing. The West laughed. Analysts called it a phantom project. Then came the Ukraine war, and suddenly Russia's priorities changed overnight. The Kremlin's new doctrine focused on self-sufficiency and industrial militarization. The Su-57, once an over-budget experiment, became a necessity. By 2025, with state financing redirected and assembly lines running under military contracts, the Su-57 finally entered true serial production. Perhaps the most overlooked part of the October announcement came in one sentence. Russia has secured its first Su-57 export order, 12 units for Algeria. This is not just a sale, it's a strategic earthquake. Algeria's decision marks the first time a non-NATO country has bought a fifth-generation fighter outside Western influence. It sends a message to Washington and Brussels: there's now a second supplier for stealth aircraft. For decades, the U.S. leveraged the F-35 as both a weapon and a diplomatic tool. Buying one meant entering a deep logistics and political alliance, data sharing, maintenance contracts, and software lock-ins. Russia's offer flips the script. Stealth without strings attached. No political oversight, no sanctions risk, no U.S. State Department approval. And nations frustrated by Western dominance from Egypt to Vietnam, and even Indonesia, are watching closely. Because if Algeria's fleet performs well, Moscow could unlock a massive export window across Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. Here's where Russia's long-term plan becomes crystal clear. While ramping up Su-57 production for its elite air regiments, Moscow is also accelerating development of its lighter, cheaper stealth sibling, the Su-75 Checkmate. The Checkmate isn't designed to replace the Su-57. It's designed to complement it, and more importantly, to dominate the export market. Cost: estimated around $30 to $35 million per unit, compared to $80 to $100 million for an F-35. Crew: single pilot. Design: modular avionics, stealth shaping, and radar-absorbent composite skin. Purpose: a plug-and-play fifth-generation fighter for countries that can't afford Western jets. In short, the Su-57 is Russia's sword, while the Su-75 is its sales pitch. This dual production strategy gives Russia both high-end air superiority and low-cost export leverage. Together, they threaten to erode Western aerospace hegemony, a system built on US F-35 and European Eurofighter exports. Behind this sudden surge lies something much deeper: Russia's transformation into a wartime economy. Sanctions forced Moscow to pivot, cutting dependence on Western microelectronics and materials and revitalizing state-owned defense industries. Factories in Komsomolsk, Irkutsk, and Kazan now operate under 24/7 production schedules, shifting from civilian to military output. By leveraging domestic resources and parallel import networks with China and Iran, Russia is now producing advanced avionics at unprecedented rates. The Su-57 program, once symbolic of post-Soviet inefficiency, has become a proof of industrial survival. And if Russia manages to sustain this momentum, by 2030, it could have a dual fifth-generation fleet, operational Su-57s at home and exported Checkmates abroad. For NATO, the implications are alarming. For decades, Western dominance in the skies was absolute. The US fielded nearly 600 F-35s, with allies like the UK, Italy, and Japan integrating hundreds more. No adversary had stealth capability on this scale. Now that monopoly is breaking. The global fighter market is worth over $100 billion annually, dominated by Lockheed Martin and Western suppliers. Russia's new strategy, high-end Su-57s for itself, low-cost Su-75s for export, directly attacks that monopoly. By 2030, if even 10 to 15 nations adopt Russian fifth-generation fighters, Moscow could command a quarter of the global export market, displacing Western influence and embedding Russian avionics and weapon systems across multiple continents. That means new alliances, new dependencies, and new military realities. Until now, that's all for today, and thanks for watching.